Do you dream of following your soul's purpose as a tarot reader, a healer, or a coach? Well, that's exactly what I did when I started Biddy Tarot and eventually quit my corporate job to become a full-time tarot reader. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you my story as the founder of Biddy Tarot, from my very first reading to giving readings to strangers and then eventually becoming a professional tarot reader with over 10,000 clients worldwide. Yes, you heard that right, 10,000 clients. Now, I'm also going to be sharing the 3 keys to my success to really inspire you to really follow your heart and fulfill your soul purpose. So let's get cozy as we get up close and personal on how this all came about. So it all began in 1996. I know, a very long time ago. And here's the thing, I was about to head to Germany on a high school exchange, and I was desperate to find out what was going to happen on this trip. So one afternoon, I was walking around an old part of town and I spotted this sign that read tarot reader. And I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And I decided to go in. Now, I walked up those creaky wooden stairs very slowly through like a purple and gold sheer curtain and into this small room that was filled with crystals, angelic statues, incense, smoke, and of course, tarot cards and the tarot reader. And I got to say, it was like I was walking into a movie set and I was wondering maybe this was all part of the act. Now, the woman invited me to come and sit down, and then she reached out and she held my hand. She said, "What do you want to know, dear?" And your eyes were like piercing into my soul, reading every thought that I had, or really that's what I was kind of fearing what was happening. And I explained to her, look, I'm going overseas for 6 months and I wanted to find out what might happen when I got there. So she picked up her beautiful, well-loved cards and closing her eyes, she was mumbling something to herself, and then she started shuffling the cards. And then she opened her eyes and then she peeled off that top tarot card off of the deck, and I remember it as if it was yesterday because it was the Emperor card. And she goes, "Oh gosh, you're going to find love in Germany, real love, not all that high school love that you've been having, but like actually real love. Your heart is going to open up in this really big way and you're going to fall madly in love with a sweetheart." Now, for a moment I was super excited. I was like, what? Love? That sounds so amazing. But then all this doubt and skepticism started to rush in. And I thought, oh, I bet she says this to everyone. She's just telling me what I want to hear. This is not real. This is BS. So I walked away from that reading thinking that I'd just wasted my $50 on someone who just made up whatever her clients yearned for. But then there was also this part of me that was kind of hopeful. I was a little bit optimistic that maybe what she said was right and I would find love. Now, fast forward a few months and I was in Germany, and guess what? I fell in love big time because I found the boy of my dreams, this real sweetheart who wanted to impress me and take care of me. And we met in the local high school and he wanted to show me around. And really, the rest is history because it was such a beautiful romance. But it did come to its inevitable end when my 6 months were up in Germany and I had to fly home to Australia. And of course, there were all the tears and the promises to stay in touch, but eventually and inevitably, we grew apart. Now, that tarot reader was right because he was my first emperor. And it got me thinking, if tarot cards could predict this new romance, then surely they could do so much more. So what did? I asked my parents for a deck of tarot cards for Christmas, and then I started to learn how to read tarot. And I bought dozens of books on tarot cards. I created my own notebook with blank pages set aside for every single card, and I scheduled at least an hour a day to study those tarot cards. And off I went. I spent hours and hours reading about each card, taking copious amounts of notes, and then doing these spot quizzes for myself to make sure that I had remembered everything that I needed to know about the cards. Now, the next thing I did is I started to learn how to do a tarot reading, and I researched what would I need for the reading. I need a cloth, I need some crystals, candles, oils, and so on. And then I learned all of the techniques for shuffling and laying out the cards. And then, of course, I memorized as many of the most popular tarot spreads as possible. So my first tarot readings were actually for myself because even as a complete beginner, I was so astounded at how accurate the cards were and how much they were revealing about what was going on in my life. And it became such a beautiful tool of insight just for my own personal readings. So, of course, what do? I start telling my friends, I'm like, wow, I've got these tarot cards and they can tell me all of these sorts of things. So I started to tell them more about it and they were begging me to read the cards for them. So I spent nearly every weekend pulling cards, doing readings for my friends. And again, we were so blown away by the insights, and it wasn't uncommon for my friends to actually be in tears by the end of the reading because it was so profound. And seeing all of this, not just for myself, but for my friends, I knew I needed to do more with my skills and my talents with the tarot cards. So I signed up for something that was called the Free Tarot Network online. And it gave me that opportunity to offer free readings in exchange for experience and feedback. Now, at first I was petrified. I was reading for people I had never met before who were on the other side of the world. But I've got to say that once I got through those first few nervous readings and got them out of the way, I started to find my flow. And I started to receive a lot of positive feedback. So just like my friends, my new clients were just amazed by what I was sharing with them through the cards. So of course I did more and more free readings until like literally a couple of years later, I had completed over 500 free readings. That's right, 500 free readings, because it was giving me such a confidence boost. It allowed me to really practice my skills, and I knew I was helping so many people. Now, around the same time, I decided to start a website to share what I was learning. And this was way back in 1999, the start of the internet. And I learned how to code a website with HTML, like literally did not use any programs, Notepad and HTML. And within a few weeks, I had something up online. Now, it was not very pretty, but at least it was something. And here's what happened. As I learned more about the tarot cards and as I practiced my readings, I added more and more content to this website, hoping that maybe it's going to help at least one person out there. Now, the next thing I did is I started an email newsletter, and I pulled a card for each week and I shared the insights with the group. And funnily enough, this is what I still do to this day. I don't know what's that, 25 years on, because it's such a fun and powerful way to really connect with the tarot cards. Now, within a year, I had over 800 people signed up to my newsletter. Now, these days, we have over 300,000 people, so you've got to start somewhere, don't you? Now, after I'd built up enough experience reading for others for free, I decided it was definitely time to try offering readings for a small fee. So this is what I did. I typed up a quick little email, I sent it off to my list of 800 people, and I said, hey, I can do a 10-card Celtic Cross reading for just $10. I know, I said it, 10 cards for $10. It took me over an hour to do each time, but I just wanted to get myself out there, even if it was like crazy, crazy cheap. Now, within just a few hours, I received my first tarot reading request, and then another and another, and I was absolutely thrilled because I did each reading, and like I said, I spent over an hour on each one because I was so keen to impress. Then the next week, what I did is I sent my usual weekly card, but I also sent another invite to request a tarot reading with me. And this time, 5 more people signed up for readings. And then over the next few weeks and the next few months, more and more people requested this $10 reading with me. So soon I had 10 clients, then I had 50, and then I had 100. And then my clients started referring their friends to me and coming back for more readings. This is how that momentum really got going, right? Now, within a few months, my booking calendar was absolutely full, and I actually had to start a wait list. And here's the thing, like what you may not realize with all of this activity is that this was all happening at the time that I was either studying full-time at university, or later I was working full-time in corporate. And I would literally fit in all of my tarot readings and emails on the weekend and before and after a full day of work. And I tell you that I could do all of that because I absolutely loved it. It was my absolute passion work, right? So soon I realized that I had such a strong demand for all of my readings, my $10 Celtic Cross readings, that I absolutely had to put up my prices. And I knew that I was delivering a lot of value and I really needed to find a way to manage that flow. So I went from charging $10 for a Celtic cross to then $50 for a Celtic cross, because that started to feel a little bit more in alignment with what I was offering to my clients. Then later, that actually went up to $100 and then eventually $300 for an hour-long reading. Now, after completing a few hundred professional tarot readings online, I decided to try my hand at reading tarot for people in person. So here's what I did. It was a bit crazy, but I signed myself up for a reader's table at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival in Melbourne. Now, if you don't know about this, it is like literally tens of thousands of people descend on the conference center in the middle of the city for a few days. And I got to say, it was like an initiation by fire. I was so nervous and I felt so out of place. I was this young 20-something-year-old. I was just wearing casual jeans and a t-shirt while everyone else is looking very legitimate as psychics. But I walked into that room, I set up my table alongside the 50 other tarot readers and psychic readers that were there. And I thought, no, let's just do this, give it my best. And here's the thing. That first person sat down with me to have a reading with me, and I pulled the cards. I was so nervous. I was sweating bullets, right? But I'm pulling the cards. I'm like, just do this, Bridget. You got to do it. And my mind was absolutely blown away by the insights. And I could not believe how accurate these readings were. And I then sat down, I had more clients and more clients. And by the end of those few days, I had, I think, over about 20 different clients and 20 readings and a huge amount of experience and practice in just a short time. Now, fast forward a few years, and then I came across the book called The 4-Hour Workweek. And this book showed me that I could earn an income from the things that I absolutely love. So, of course, I was like, well, I love tarot. And so I created an ebook out of all of the tarot card meanings that I had been developing over the years. And I started selling that for $10 as well. And like literally the little payment notification would come in and I would hand send the email with the ebook attached to it, and everyone was very happy. Now, here's the other thing. I also did some basic SEO, search engine optimization. And then within a few months, Biddy Tarot was the top ranking website for tarot. And amazingly, it stayed there ever since. So with the increase of the traffic, I decided to add some advertising to my website. And that also helped me to earn another source of income. Now, by 2012, my tarot income exceeded my corporate income. And that's when I decided to leave the corporate world for good and become a full-time tarot reader. I've got to say, my colleagues and my boss at my corporate job thought I was insane. They thought I was crazy, but I knew in my gut that I was doing absolutely the right thing for me. And really, the rest is history. So over these last sort of 15 years or 20 years of reading tarot professionally, I accumulated over 10,000 clients from all around the world. So how can you do the same? How can you get started? I want to give you 3 keys to success that really have been pivotal in my own journey and that I know could help you as well in your journey. So number 1 is start before you are ready. I don't know about you, but I have never felt 100% ready. I rarely do, but I start anyway, right? 80%, yep, that's good enough. Let's go. And here's the thing, I just adjusted as I went along. I started to build up my experience. I put myself in challenging situations like doing the readings at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival because I knew I needed to just push myself out there before I was even ready. So that's number 1, is start before you're even ready. Now, number 2, do it because you love it. Now, I read for others because I absolutely love doing it, not because I wanted to create a business or earn an income. And what happened though is because of this energy, I attracted more people, and as a result, I made more money over time. So from those humble beginnings of like $10 tarot readings, now I have created millions and millions of dollars of value through my business because I'm following my passion, I'm following my heart. So really start with the passion and the energy and know that the money will follow. Now, number 3 is adopt a curious mindset. I had a little bit of a mantra in my head pretty much the entire journey that everything I did was an experiment. So the website that I created was an experiment. Doing the paid readings was an experiment. The Mind Body Spirit Festival was definitely an experiment. The ebook was an experiment because I had no idea if it was going to work, and I certainly had no idea that it was going to lead to the 7-figure business that I have now. But I did it because I was curious to see what would happen. And here's the thing, it was also okay if it didn't work. It wasn't necessarily a failure, but it was a learning opportunity, right? Because everything's an experiment. Try something, get some information. Did that work? Didn't it work? How did I feel? Did I feel good? Do I do more of it? Do I do less of it? And so on. So that curious mindset is so important when building a business. All right, there you have it, my friend. That is how I became a full-time tarot reader with over 10,000 clients. Now, if you want to learn more about how to read tarot and also to serve others with this beautiful tool in a more modern and approachable way, I want you to know that there's so much for you to explore here at Biddy Tarot, because we've literally helped millions of people around the world to develop their tarot skills, to build their own tarot businesses. And of course, we would love to help you do the same. So take the next step in your tarot journey by clicking below. Hey, if you loved this video, then make sure you check out this next video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.